right. Hey, everybody. Currently,
Hey, everybody.
That's 0 people watching right this moment, but we'll start it out. Welcome to Real Estate Makes Us Drink. I'm Brian Quinlan with Daniels Real Estate.
Brad Niccum with Nest Mortgage Group.
Hey, look at that. You tagged me in a video, and there it is.
Boom, and there we are. We're live as a mofo.
All right, so if you are a regular watcher of our show over on YouTube or maybe listening on podcast land, we had a guest lined up for tonight who unfortunately had to cancel last minute through his own business. There was an emergency that came up, nothing of medical concern, just business emergency he had to deal with, and so he will be our guest another time. We honestly didn't have a plan otherwise, as normally we wing all these anyways.
I mean, we spent 40 minutes getting this to work.
That we did, and so here we are. So Brad, as we always do, sir, holy moly. All right, well, he pours his tequila.
I finished the glass in the first one that we did.
Right, so while Brad Niccum from Nest Mortgage pours himself some more tequila. Is that the same one you had previously?
Hiatus, but I did a repo instead of the idea.
Well, it does look
cheers, my friend.
Blonde, I suppose. Cheers to you all. Tell us about Hiatus.
Hiatus is a great tequila that I have found. It is made at NOM 1137, and it is partially owned by somebody here in Indianapolis, Brett Place.
Cool.
He reached out to me on Facebook or Instagram and said, "Dude, you're a tequila guy and you're in Indiana." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "God, so am I." You know, so he was all excited.
You had to be a bit surprised by that.
I was, because this is kind of a tequila desert, I believe. So he said, "Let's get together," and we said, "All right, let's do it." We did. I had him on the show on Monday, so it'll drop next Wednesday night or Thursday at midnight on YouTube.
Cool.
And we talk about how they make it, and it's pretty good. So seems like an additive-free tequila. It's got a great flavor. It's made with a roller mill and stone oven and all this stuff.
Cool. How long has Hiatus been in business? Ish.
Tune in to Brad Niccum's YouTube channel, Tasting Tequila with Brad.
There's only so many things he remembers.
I do believe they started in 2018.
Okay.
That's when the company started. So
maybe 6-7 years.
Yep. I was thinking, yeah, maybe it's 8 years. You know, so maybe it's a little before that. But a good distribution, you can find it all over Indiana. They did partner with St. Elmo's. The huge group, or
I have no idea.
I forget the name of the group that owns. Put it in the comments if you know who owns Elmo's. But they partnered with them, so you can get it at all their restaurants. And hey, my friend Karen and Jeff are watching. Hey, Karen and Jeff.
You know, it's funny. Now we're waving, and we know someone's
actually watching when we wave. That's pretty cool.
We normally wave and have no idea.
Yeah, they're just waving and nothing.
Nice.
My friend Karen, who lives down in Florida.
Oh, no way.
No, she doesn't. Good Lord. They moved back to Nashville. I totally got that wrong.
Nashville.
She's going to be Tennessee.
Okay.
And then Jeff Johnson's one of my tequila buddies in Texas. And Brittany's watching too. Brittany Moore.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's one of your peeps.
Yeah.
I mean, she's one of my peeps.
I can't see anything on here, so other than the fact that I'm currently on there live.
Hey, Brittany said, "Hey, friends." Hey, Brittany. I need a buyer.
Yes. Don't we all?
So tell me,
Wait a minute.
What?
We talked about your tequila.
Oh, I always forget,
Jeez.
dude. Dang it. Sorry.
If you can at all see this can, it is quite nifty. It is from the Stone Gargoyle, our loyal guardian and your symbol of quality. Well, from Stone Brewing, which is located in California and Virginia. This is Buena Vesa. Sounds like one of your
Buena Vesa.
Buena Vesa, salt, lime, and lager.
Hang on, we got to say hi to Sergio Cruz, who's watching.
What's up?
Sergio Cruz,
Sergio!
my favorite master distiller. Right. Golly, I wish I knew more Spanish right
now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great, man.
I love the can, the picture.
I do as well.
Kind of the dead looking, so.
Pretty nifty. So you started asking me a question before I cut you off about my beer here.
No, I was gonna. We got to do a shout out to our friends at Sun King Brewery who definitely hook us up with great beer whenever we need it.
They do.
And thanks to Hiatus for bringing these tequilas to drink and dropping them off. And thanks.
On our previous episode with Jake Burgess from Fox Garden, what's up, Jake?
Hey, Jake.
We talked about going to Sun King up in Carmel because he has the den inside of the Sun King Brewery in Carmel. Not really a brewery, it's really just a restaurant and bar. But we had talked about the possibility of going up there and doing a recording of a future episode from inside Sun King and bring two of our worlds of guests together, even though they know each other.
I think it'll be great. And I that's one that I think we should record, but I also think we should have it live as well.
This is kind of a little experiment in live right now and see how it goes. That would be cool. We probably need someone to moderate so they can see anything being commented over.
Yeah, like I'm moderating over here.
Exactly.
It's a little bit harder, but
it is. But yeah, that would be fun. So sometime this summer, while the weather's nice, we're going to head up there and make that happen. So
I wonder if we should turn our podcast into a live broadcast along with recording it for the YouTube channel.
Let's see how this goes today.
Yeah. And comment. Tell us if you'd watch live over the other. Does anybody have a real estate question? That's what.
For real,
we're here to answer
real estate questions, mortgage questions,
beer questions, tequila questions. We'll answer them all.
I'm not sure I can answer beer questions.
Do you like beer?
Well, I do, but I don't know why.
Brittany said yes.
Yes, Brittany. All right.
So I don't know. If she's probably yes do a live or
she'd watch.
Yes she has a question, or hopefully yes she has a buyer for me. That's a lot of yeses.
We're good. Maybe it's yes to all of it.
Could be. I got a thumbs up too. So I think it's yes to all of it.
Well, thanks, Britt.
So tell them what you're doing next.
Okay,
so because you're going to be doing something
in about a little over a week. My wife and I, along with my parents, are flying to Rome, and we're going to do 3 days in Rome, followed by a 6-day Mediterranean cruise.
Oh, not Rome, Texas?
Nope, Rome, Italy.
Wow.
Yep, pretty exciting. And of course, Rome, and especially Vatican City, which is its own country, it had some big news this week. Unfortunately, the Pope passed away. And my wife and I are both Catholic. My parents, I would say, are more into their Catholicism.
Would you say that you're Catholic light?
No.
They're Catholic?
No, it's more like Catholic and Catholic dark.
Okay.
They're much more, like my dad's in the choir and he does multiple singing things, and my mom used to serve communion at church. I mean, they are, not that I'm not a cradle Catholic, but they are like hardcore cradle Catholics.
I don't know what that's a term I don't even know.
That means right out of when they were babies. They were brought into the Catholic faith and they've been Catholic their entire lives. They went to Catholic grade schools, they went to Catholic high schools. My dad even went to Catholic university. So,
wow. Is there a point that you have to move to Florida, which I've heard is called purgatory?
I may wind up down there someday, so perhaps. So, anyways, my parents have never been to Europe. And a funny story, a few years ago, Stephanie was having a conversation with my dad and talked about, traveling the world and whatnot. And my dad's like, well, I've been outside the United States. And she's like, well, I know that they've been on Caribbean cruises. But he's like, well, I was in Vietnam.
That's outside the States.
Well, Dad, that's not wrong. And thank you for your service. And however,
it probably was all inclusive.
Correct. Yeah, I'm sure it was, but not quite the same as traveling for pleasure.
No, my gosh, no way.
So they've never been to Europe. And Stephanie's been there twice. I've been there once. And so there's a mild bit of anxiety I think my parents have about traveling abroad. They're not necessarily letting that on to me, but there have been a lot of questions.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just kind of get the vibe that, that's fine. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But now that the Pope has passed away, that creates potential chaos, wrenches thrown into our plans and all of that. Because when the Pope passed away, and I had to learn about all this now because I kind of wanted to see how it may affect our trip. So when he passed away, there's a mandatory 9-day mourning period in the church that, I forget what day it was, but it goes until either the 29th or the 30th.
Is there a reason why there's 9 days?
I have no idea. I know that the body is lying in state there at St. Peter's Basilica, so people can come pay their respects and pray and all of that. But I don't know why not. Anyway, we have so then the cardinals from all over the world who are either already in Vatican City or making their way there now, they will meet in what's called Conclave, which was a movie, Academy Award nominated movie, and they will vote on who the next pope is going to be. Do you know how they do that? The voting for choosing of the Pope?
Well, first they show their ID.
Yeah, probably.
And then I have no idea from there.
So the cardinals are basically in a locked room in the Vatican, and they discuss, I don't
So
know.
it's like an open voting, like everybody knows who everybody's voting?
No, actually.
Okay.
So whoever does the voting, they write their choice on a piece of paper. It is given into whoever it is that collects it. And then if they're in, I don't know by what percentage someone has to, do they have to have all the votes? I truly don't know. I should probably.
Oh, you don't know if it's a majority or a
Yeah, truly have no more. Does it have to be unanimous?
to go
No
to the
clue.
Speaker of the House?
But ultimately, when they vote, and let's assume that the first time they vote, they don't choose the new pope, all of those papers are taken into the Sistine Chapel, where they have hooked up a chimney, and the smoke from the burning of those votes will be sent out through the chimney. If the smoke comes out black, that means they did not choose a pope, but they voted. When the smoke comes out white, that lets everybody know that they have chosen a new pope.
Okay, how are they changing this?
I have no idea.
Like, are they burning a tire on the lawn?
There's clearly something that has to go in there, because otherwise it's just paper, right? But yeah, some way, shape, or form, it signifies black smoke, nope. White smoke, we're done. We got our person. I'll say our guy.
What happens if the guy that's in charge of the smoke, like maybe it's been a long day, and all of a sudden like, oops, it's the wrong color.
Yeah, I don't know. So now let's transition. The Quinlans are arriving May 5th, first day of conclave. We land in Rome. May 6th, we have a tour set up at the Vatican, which is supposed to include the Sistine Chapel. We have not been told this yet, but I think we can pretty much assume that tourists are not getting into the Sistine Chapel if it has something to do with the conclave.
They're not adding additional voters.
No, they are not. And so I hope that we can still do the Vatican tour, which is the Vatican Museum. I hope we should still be able to get into St. Peter's Basilica and, walk around and all of that.
I need one more word that rhymes with Pope.
Nope.
Yep.
So, TBD, what happens with our time there. And, I feel I'm a bit bummed because, like I said, my parents are late 70s. First time ever they're going to Europe, excited to see cool stuff that they've, only seen pictures and videos and whatnot. Now they're most likely not going to get to go into the Sistine Chapel or, maybe not even the other places. And, I suppose
You can still ride rides though, right?
we could go back again someday. It's just,
Isn't it amazing that the entire Vatican, what the heck fell over my phone? You're just shit at me. Isn't it amazing that the entire place fits in like turn 3 of the Hiatus?
yeah. Well, as we approach the Indy 500, you'll start seeing that image again.
Already did.
Yeah.
I seen it the other day,
All
actually.
those large monuments and buildings or whatnot that can fit inside of the entirety of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
It's a lot of things.
It is. It certainly is.
Now I've lost where I can see our comments, so now we have to pay
bugger.
attention up there.
Oh, well, there's no way we're reading that.
Hi, everybody.
Is it recording off your computer or off the camera?
It's on the camera.
We don't have a cord long enough to make that work. Oh, well.
Yeah, we got the camera and then also these mics. So we have it set up in our normal.
That's good.
This should be like a professional sounding system. But I have the comments going here. Maybe they'll come back this because I dropped the
Maybe
thing.
they will.
Scared the crap.
Good.
Somebody comment so I can see if the comments are working.
Will help.
Will help.
How many people we have watching? Only 2. And one of them is me.
We had 5. Somehow
I got the comments back.
You did?
So we're gonna have to do.
Brittany Morlock is still watching. Well, all right. That's helpful. Yeah, well, whatever.
I'm in the wrong one.
Oh, good grief, Charlie Brown.
This whole live thing was very difficult to figure out how to do.
Hey, not as easy as just hitting go live on your Facebook channel.
There you go. I got it all back.
Yeah,
Bob Potter said, hola.
Oh, hi, Bob.
He's the owner of Cojones.
That dude, if you're still
C.O.
watching,
Jones.
that is one of the greatest labels right there. C.O. Jones. So good.
Should we pour a little glass of C.O. Jones?
Come on, let's
All right,
go.
let's do it.
This is for you, Bob.
It's up there. So no one look at my rear side.
Jeff Johnson. So, Brad, I'll ask if your person you'd like to have a drink with is still Sammy. And I'd pose the same question to your co-host. The person you'd like to have a drink with is still Sammy. And who's
Okay, so Jeff, my answer to that question would be yes, I'd love to have a drink with Sammy. I think it'd be really
As in Sammy Hagar?
Sammy Hagar.
Okay.
But I'm going to now add that I'd like to have you there having a drink with me with Sammy. So how's that? So there's my answer. Now, who would be the person that you would like to sit down and have a drink with, Brian? Alive, dead, famous, famous thing.
I did chime in on this discussion.
Cajones! C.O. Jones, one of the best tequilas and the best labels out there.
Where are we at? There we go.
Oh, yeah. Well, C.O. Jones happening big time right there. This is a good one, folks.
And great label. Though they can't hear me because it's not microphone.
He said it's not easy to watch. Sorry, Jeff, we're trying.
We are. All right, so who would we had this discussion on a previous episode, and I said, I think every episode I may come up with a different person because I have the advantage of, doing this multiple times as opposed to someone who you just ask and you only talk to them one time.
Right.
I would, let's see.
Who'd you say last?
I think I might have said like Michael Jordan last time.
I thought he was Pete Rose.
It's certainly not. Pete wouldn't make my top 100. I have nothing necessarily against Pete Rose, but he just,
I was just kidding.
To me, he's a baseball player. So sticking, I guess, in the sports world, I'm a big fan of Tiger Woods. And I wouldn't mind sitting down and having a drink with Tiger. But, in situations like that, where, you pick someone who's famous, especially currently famous, because, well, no, I'll get to the because in a minute. Currently famous, they're much more protective of their image and what they say, potentially getting out and, ruining that image and whatnot. And so, if I'm sitting with Tiger Woods, asking him questions, the question in my head would continually be, is he answering me honestly? Is this a good question to ask? Is he really going to answer this? Because, there are certain things that, we've seen of Tiger Woods in the news, and I'd be like, I'd want to know the true story behind that.
The only question that'd be in my mind the whole time I'm sitting with Tiger Woods.
What's that?
Why Perkins?
But, some, let's say I chose like Mickey Mantle. Okay, well, Mickey Mantle, number one, was pretty much a drunk athlete back in the 50s.
He did dug our show.
he would have dug our show. But the image back then, because social media did not exist and media pressure did not exist as much as it does now, probably would be more open just because he's less guarded on a regular basis. So, different eras just gets different ways in which they answer.
All right, that's a good answer.
There you go. So Tiger Woods.
That's the final Tiger Woods
for today.
For today.
It's to the Pope. I gotta go with the Pope.
It's to the Pope.
I'm Brian, your Indianapolis realtor. If you are looking to buy or sell a house in the Indy area, I'm your guy. If you're coming from out of state, want to make a move to the Indy area, I'm your guy. Check out the show notes for a link. We can get in touch and get you started. Thanks for watching. Now back to the show.
Oh, wait, here we go. Cajones.
The whole time the Pope would talk, I'd be going, I don't know his language.
He can speak English.
You can't? Divine.
Most popes can speak multiple languages. He was actually from Argentina, so.
Jeff just put, I bet Tiger could tell some drinking stories.
Oh my gosh. Right?
Yeah.
And I'd like to hear some of those. Mickey Mantle could have told some drinking stories.
Or Babe Ruth. Wasn't he just like a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Drinking and eating hot dogs. At least that's often how he's portrayed. Speaking of athletes, so if I say the name Greg Maddux, do you know who that is?
I think he's a chiropractor here in town.
So, former Major League pitcher Greg Maddux, one of the greatest pitchers in history and contemporary.
Hi, Nick, Craig.
He is currently probably in his 40s, maybe close to 50, but either way. Greg Maddux, there was, on my social media, I see clips from a documentary that somebody did about Greg Maddux. I'm like, where is this? Because I went to Netflix, it wasn't there. It turns out MLB Network did it was like a 1 hour documentary on Greg Maddux and his story. Phenomenal athlete, and as I was a pitcher growing up, but not a pitcher. I did not throw hard. I was more of a location pitcher, control, that kind of thing. And Greg Maddux, very much the same. He could throw harder than me, but not known as a fireballer, right?
Okay, yep.
And so I found this documentary and watched it last week. It was so cool. Just to hear one story that was told, which to me was absolutely fascinating. People would often say on broadcast when he was pitching, how he was in sync with his catcher, and how the catcher was calling a good game, which often means catchers want to call his pitches. They might be getting that signal from the bench or whatever.
Every once in a while.
Greg Maddux called his own pitches, but nobody knew that he was doing it. He wasn't on the mound shaking off the catcher. It was how he caught the ball coming back from the catcher would tell the catcher what the next pitch was going to be. So if he caught it like this, it was a fastball. If he caught it like this, it was a curveball. If he's walking around the mound and he touches his head like this, it's going to be a changeup or whatever.
The Atlanta Braves pitch.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim.
I was like, that is so phenomenal and sneaky, and just he's a very cerebral person when it comes to how he pitched. And there was another story that he told where in midseason they were in first place. They knew they were going to playoffs. Houston Astros were in first place. They knew they were going to playoffs. And he said, Jeff Bagwell, great home run hitter. He knew that if he pitched it inside Jeff Bagwell, that he's probably going to hit a home run. So he always pitched away. Well, in that game, he got to a certain count, called the catcher out, and he goes, we're throwing inside. It's like, okay. Sure enough, Bagwell jacks a home run. So as they're walking off the field after the inning, Maddux says to his catcher, he goes, we're going to probably meet up in the playoffs, and he's going to remember that I threw him inside on that count when the time comes, and we're going to get him. Sure enough, in the playoffs,
wow,
he struck him out on a very similar count. As he was walking out the field, he says to his catcher, do you remember 3 months ago?
I told you
I was going to do that. It's like, holy crap.
Wow.
So good.
I've never watched a documentary about baseball.
Well, there you go. I love sports documentaries.
If you've ever tuned into our show, Real Estate Makes Us Drink on YouTube, but we do interview people and talk about real estate. We have a video come out every week. We've been doing it for over a year now.
Yeah.
This is kind of like how our show goes.
So, sometimes we're just shooting the shit, and sometimes we're talking real estate. Right now, I don't think it's a stretch to say that the majority of realtors who would talk to you would say real estate is slow right now.
Yeah, it's although I'm ahead of last year in numbers, I'm behind in volume, but it's...
You know what's funny? I'm the exact same way. I'm blessed to have closed some deals that were big, which paid well. I actually have a closing tomorrow morning. But so for essentially the first half of the year, even though we're only at the end of April, I've made more to this point, even for the first 6 months, than I would have made last year.
Well,
very fortunate.
That's
which is
awesome.
great. A little less pressure that way, right?
A little less pressure, yeah.
I go to Europe and be okay.
Yeah, but you're not going to find me a single buyer in Europe. And Bradley over here is behind. Like, I'm trying.
Yeah, I'm trying. I send the people your way.
I know you do.
As you know, Brittany, you could send them his way too. Brittany,
could Brittany off here.
I
don't think you can do that.
We don't want to kick anybody off.
No, heck no, we need
We're
viewers.
Up to 5. We're good.
It's cruising.
So is there anything in the financial world that people need to know? Is this we're going to lose viewers?
Rates aren't as bad as what everybody thinks they are.
Because they're kind of the same, aren't they?
6s and 7s aren't a big deal. And I had a conversation with a customer today, and she's in love with this house, and she's relocating from another state to here. And she's like, I just don't know what to do with that rate so high. And I said, you're looking at the wrong thing. Because if you were being driven to the hospital by your best friend, and the hospital is 10 miles away, and there's 5 miles worth of gas in the car, and there's one gas station between here and there, and gas is $100 a gallon.
By the way, this is a great analogy. I've never heard you say it like that. This is so good.
I just made it up.
This is really good.
Do you stop at the gas station and let your friend die because the gas is too high?
No, sir.
So why are you letting an interest rate make you give up on the thing that you have to have because you're relocating here for a job? Oh no, I won't.
Yeah,
It's too expensive. I think I'll rent.
I'll go rent because I got to move there anyway.
Right.
And then we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah, that was just, man, it just blew me away. And I gave that analogy or whatever you would call that, and they're like, yeah, but rates are still too high. What if I did a home equity line of credit on my house and then I paid cash for the house? Okay, that's a great idea. I would not disagree with doing that. By the way, the home equity line of credit is probably going to be 9.5.
Correct.
It's prime plus 1. So, oh my gosh, that rate is that high? And I literally said in the phone call, I think what you want to do is stay in your house and not take the new job and not enjoy the house that you're living in. Just enjoy the rate. Like every time you get in your car and go, my rate's so low, it's so great. When you're at the store, picking up food, you're like, I have a great interest rate.
Yeah, I do.
When you're standing in line at the B&B that you don't want to be at, just remember, rate is great.
It is. Or, your friends come over and instead of talking about your awesome kitchen and the island, you're going to open it up with, man, I got a great rate.
I don't know how many
Show you the
people
kitchen.
have walked into somebody's foyer and went, wow, I love your interest rate. It's the silliest thing,
And feeding off of that, what I say, I feel like a lot. If you can afford the house at whatever the interest rate is right now, then it's the time to go buy the house.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever happens later, happens later.
It is, can you afford the payment, and is that the house you want? Not what is giving me the payment. If rates come down, and that's a huge if. That's like a giant if.
Yeah.
If this was 1971 and interest rates went above 7%, and you said, I'm going to wait to buy a house until rates fall below 7%. Below 7% was 2005. When I got in the business in 97, rates were 8.5. My parents' first home, their rate was 3 times what rates are today. 3 times. And they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to buy a house today,
Jeff says the tequila is making me smarter.
No, Jeff, I'm actually smart. When it comes to mortgages, everything else, dumber than a doorknob.
There we go.
Yeah.
So, again, if you can afford the monthly payment on whatever the rate is now, do that and lock it in. If rates go up, you're protected because you've locked in the rate that you have. If rates go down, you may be at an opportunity where by then you can refinance to that lower rate.
You finish that to you.
I usually do. Even if I don't like stuff. I'm not saying I didn't like that.
No, that's good. And yeah, you got to qualify
Yep.
to refinance. You have to make sure it makes financial sense.
Correct.
If
So
it
this
costs
not usually
$35,
free.
yeah, if it costs $3,500 to refinance, and you're going to save $10 a month.
Not worth it.
That's a lot of months you have
That
to
is.
live in your house.
Yeah.
Then you're stuck there going, no, I don't want to move because I refinanced 8 years ago.
There you go. There you go.
So what do you see happening in the real estate market in Indianapolis and our surrounding areas? When I say Indy, I mean Donut County. So are you seeing any change in the marketplace?
I saw an interesting article this week that nationwide, new construction is down.
Yeah.
The applications by, I'm assuming, new construction builders for putting up new houses is down nationwide. Indiana, especially Indianapolis, not. Johnson County, up 104% this March compared to March of last year.
Did you see what the number 2 county was?
I actually have it here on my phone.
Hancock County.
Thank you.
54%.
Yeah.
It's right here.
So I am, seeing new construction as a great option for people. Not always affordable. I get that because new construction can be very pricey. Just depends on where you want that to be. But I was at a new construction site this week from Taylor Morrison, and their interest rates that they're offering through the end of May are literally below 5%. I was like, holy crap, that's pretty great. And I can name off
It's
two.
bond money and you're paying for it now.
Yeah,
But
that is very true. I can name off 2 or 3 other builders that are all offering tremendous interest rates, most of them in the 5s. It's like, holy cow, maybe this is something people should consider.
quit talking about this.
And one of the things that, my wife actually, she and I had this discussion the other day. She's like, if you were a first-time buyer, would you want a new construction house? Because, then you don't know anything about it. You know anything about being a homeowner. I go, well, I mean, you're a first-time home buyer. You don't know anything about the home you're buying if it's pre-owned anyway.
Sure.
And, I mean, there's pros and cons to both.
I don't want an HOA. That's my thing.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't.
And when you think about these great rates with builders, so I'm not going to discount the fact that they're giving great rates out there. They've got a great program put together. But the thing to remember is it's like an all-inclusive hotel. When I always look at my wife and went, the beer is free. She's like, well, no, it's not. It's included in the price.
That's right.
Right? So it's included in the price.
Correct.
And you find that when you start to step out and talk to another lender outside. But, I just seen a statistic that I don't know if it was for a week or a month, but it talked about the homes that were listed for sale in the market and a corresponding number of homes that have sold. So out of 503,000 listings in America, 119,000 of those were existing homes. Another 100 and some thousand of those were homes that were under construction. And then 270 some thousand of those homes were homes that had not started yet.
Wow.
So I believe it was sales, in a period of time nationwide. And when you think of those numbers, it kind of talks about where our market is today. If you have a house and you want to sell it, the appetite for that home is so much higher than it's ever been. And if you aren't in an HOA, because I hear that one of the most common things, I don't want to be in an HOA.
Yep.
I don't want somebody to tell me where I can put my trash can, or that I can't do what I want to do in my yard or whatever. And I get that. If you have one of those homes and you're thinking about selling, gosh, quit waiting. Right? Now's the time. I mean, right now is the time. I'm seeing a couple of purchase agreements, $25,000 over list.
Wow.
Robin Brees, who's a realtor here in town with Highgarden, she listed a home, I believe it was on Monday, for 6 something, and it sold for 7 something with multiple offers, 100,000 over listing. They're in Zionsville or Carmel. And that demand is there. It is pent up. And I believe you and I had a customer that found a 600 something they fell in love with, and it was sold before they could write it off.
Yep.
And that was within days.
It was 575.
575. So what you're seeing is in that marketplace where you have a home that's potentially in that move up bracket, it's going to go. It's going to go quick. And listen to your realtor. Don't think, I went to Zillow and Realtor.com and Trilio and it said my house is worth $9 million. Listen to your realtor. Your realtor's going to give you an actual price of where it's going to move at. You can go higher than their price.
Okay.
And you can have it sit on the market and you can miss the buzz and miss the excitement about it. And if you can price your home in a way that you're going to get a bit of a bidding war,
The goal.
you may sell for even more. So really make sure you're listening to your realtor on what to do with that. And if you're thinking about doing it, get off the fence. Don't let the rate stop you. Just buy a house and sell a house.
And drop me a comment. I'll feel free to help you with that.
Yeah, well, okay.
What else you got?
I don't know. This is kind of fun. I think we should do a different tequila.
Oh, wow.
I have one that was sent to me that I got this week
Sure, give me something I haven't tried, I guess.
that I haven't opened yet.
Yeah. What am I doing?
And I can open it right here on the show. This is Pedro Fativa. Remember when I talked about Pedro Fativa?
No.
Sneaky Pete?
Okay. Yep.
Remember that? Okay.
Sure.
So the Blanco and the Repo are just amazing tequilas. And I got this sent to me by Pedro Fativa, Peter Kelly. And one thing that's really cool.
Down to one viewer, it's me.
No,
Now we're at 2.
no, I'm sorry. Sorry, people will come on and watch later.
Sure.
We talked about mortgages.
I know. Lost them. Let's get to tequila talk.
So the owner also owns a very large brewing company in Georgia.
Okay.
And there's a massive brewing competition right here. This is lovely. Right here in Indianapolis next week.
All right.
So Peter Kelly's like, hey, dude, I'm going to be in Indianapolis.
Oh,
And I'm going to be there the whole week. They put the Fox on there.
well, hot diggity.
So he's like,
Sneaky Pete.
I'm going to be in Indianapolis. And I really feel that it would be a lost opportunity to not come to this bar and
Yeah.
have some tequila. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, but my schedule First of all my employees are like, look, this is not tequila week. This is nothing but
Beer week?
nothing but beer week. This is the business that pays your bills. And I said, oh, I get it. And so next Wednesday, Peter Kelly from Pedro Fativa will be right here sitting at this bar talking about his tequila, and we're going to sip on it. This is their new añejo. This is a brand new brand. And Jeff Johnson, who's commenting on here, can attest to this. I talked about them when it wasn't for sale everywhere and you couldn't buy it online. And I said, look, this is a go-get-it brand. This is amazing.
Jeff, have you had Sneaky Pete?
He has.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he's had
got
this
stopped
one yet.
up, I suppose. So that means
I told him this stuff's amazing and it's great price. It's a almost fits into a budget brand column, and they only had a repo in it.
Okay.
And it's delicious tequila. And so
Sneaky.
this is sneaky. So yesterday or day before, that big box over there, I got a hat, a really cool hat, and a cool Sneaky Pete sticker. And
Still not sending double T-shirts, huh?
I need to figure out how to work them. You know that guy that's not on my show?
Here on this show.
That's got a nice nose. Hey, Chris Mills from Tequila Time. Thanks for tuning in.
Let's see him on there.
Yeah, just jumped on there right there.
Hi, Chris. So this week,
Oh,
I
that's
reached
super
out
good.
to a couple of local breweries in hopes of getting a future guest on the show.
Yeah.
And there was one, I won't name which one it is at this point, that has said they're definitely interested. They just were not available tonight. I'm curious, I suppose, if anyone want to leave a comment, who should, like, beer people? We got enough tequila going on. Which breweries do I need to try and get on the show?
Enough tequila.
Which local Indianapolis breweries do we need to get on the show? And if anybody out there happens to know someone that works at one of those, especially if they're high up in one of those, feel free to get the contact to me, because just putting a message on their page or hitting their contact on their website, I only got 2 people to respond out of about 7 that I sent out. So,
And just so a reminder, the show that we have is called Real Estate Makes Us Drink. It's on YouTube. It comes out every Sunday night. We interview people that are real estate related. We talk about real estate. We also interview really successful people. We call it the Success Happy Hour.
correct.
So, if you think of somebody that you think would be good on that show, check it out. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. And what do you think of that?
It's a little, I guess I'll use the word spicier than the
Oh yeah,
Cojones?
it's got a lot of barrel spice.
Yeah. It's decent though.
What about that sweetness?
Oddly enough, I was going to say I feel it's a little sweet.
That's really
You know
good.
how
It's-
well refined my tastes are, so when I think of something in my head, I'm like, if I say it's sweet and it's not, do I look like an ale?
Oh,
Okay. But as your T-shirt says, drink what you like.
drink what you like. That's right. No, Tequila Collective, which is kind of another thing that I just joined. Tequila Collective is Rob Gerber. Probably said his name wrong on the live, but Rob is
Chris Mills.
a great guy. Rob is the Tequila Collective, so 275,000 followers on Instagram. He created a club where there's some great swag, a really cool drinking glass that back there, really cool drinking glass, and then they're going to do sip sessions, and you get to do, other meetings with people that are in.
Cool.
business.
So
Yeah.
you're going to meetings, are you?
Not the kind you're talking about. Mama didn't raise no quitter.
Where is Chris Mills coming in from?
I believe he's in the Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas area. And Chris has
I would
a,
imagine if you're from that area, you're really specific of whether you're Missouri or Kansas.
I
There's probably
believe
a
so,
bit of
but
a border war.
he might be mad at me for saying that I don't know. My friend Chris Tracy hey, Dr. Chris.
Chris Mills, if the side of Kansas City that you're on matters, let us know that.
So he has a YouTube channel called Tequila Time. He's kind of
Really?
what you'd call a tequila hunter.
Okay.
Gets out there and finds the good bottles,
So like
comes home and talks
like
about
a
them.
tornado hunter?
Yeah, but when you find the tequila, I guess you still end up flat on the floor. So it's the same, I
Your
guess.
head spinning at some point.
Drinking it right. Oh, that's kind of a nice barrel nose. Like it's
Oh, yeah.
shut up.
So, you were recently supposed to go to Mexico. That didn't happen. What's your next travel plan?
Don't have any booked. Don't have any plans at this time.
Got Cabo booked for October yet?
I haven't booked it, but we'll go. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we want to do a fly into Puerto Vallarta. Maybe
Set the Love Boat.
maybe stay at Tequila J Bear's new place.
Oh,
And
Tequila J Bear coming on the show?
we're working on that. Tequila J Bear. You should be watching this. We stay there at his place. He's got a great ocean view place in Puerto Vallarta, and then head to Tequila for maybe 3 days, and then to Arandas for 3 days, and then a day in Guadalajara and fly home from there.
Dang. All right.
So that'd be a great Mexican trip. We just got to figure that out. But really, right now, it's about getting real estate rolling.
That'd be nice.
And doing closing loans. So
What we're all about here.
we're all about.
Real estate makes us drink.
Well, I think we've put people through the ringer for 40 minutes.
Have we really? So
Yeah,
40 minutes?
we've been on
Okay.
for 40 minutes and 45 seconds.
We can just yam around, can't we?
Well, we're good at it.
We're professional
We put
talkers.
the yams and yammers.
You know, I will say, people have very kindly said to us, and this is more than one person, how they do enjoy our show. They think we're good at this interviewing thing, and we compliment each other quite well. So,
You look nice today, Brian.
thank you. Your hair is soon to look great when you get a cut.
I know, I got my hair cutter coming on Saturday. I'm even going to get my eyebrows trimmed up. It's going to look nice.
It's funny, when I go to Great Clips for my haircuts, they now ask, would you like me to trim up your eyebrows? And my answer is no.
Okay, so this is a whole new off-topic topic.
Here we thought the show was over.
We did. So, you know, like Andy Rooney.
Okay,
Remember his eyebrows?
for sure.
Literally looked like
Martin Scorsese's like that.
shrubbery gone wrong.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that is like the coolest look.
Oh,
Like,
Lordy.
I love it. But my wife, oh God, she hates it. So like yesterday when we were sitting on the porch watching the Amazon parade,
Uh-huh.
she looked at me and she said, "Be careful, 3 of your eyebrows are about to poke your eye out."
Oh,
So
I love Tony. That's great.
I have to get those trimmed up. And you caught us tonight watching the Amazon
did.
parade.
I was greeted by your dog,
Oh, she's so sweet.
ready to bite my head off. Vicious.
Vicious.
Kindly vicious.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing
We
up.
shall. Whoever did catch the episode today, thanks for watching. If you're catching this afterwards, thanks for watching. And feel free to leave us comments on things.
Please do.
What breweries do I need to hit up? And if you know anybody,
If you have real estate questions,
if you have real estate questions, always leave those. We appreciate that.
definitely go over to YouTube and follow us and subscribe.
We're better looking at YouTube than we are on the audio
We
podcast.
use some cleanup stuff.
All right. Well, until next time, cheers to you, my friend. We'll see you next time on Real Estate Makes Us Drink. Thanks for watching.